Good morning, Coachella Valley and today's California. This is Craig Campbell for CoachellaValley.com, and I have a special guest in studio today, Kevin Crockett of the Crockett Law Group. Good morning, Kevin. How's it going?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm doing fantastic. A little warm out here in the Palm Springs area. I think about 119 yesterday. That sounds like that should be something not right.
Yeah, I asked Alexa. I said, "Hey Alexa, what is the weather in Palm Springs?" And they said 118. I said, "What's the weather in Death Valley?" And they said 118. So not a lot different.
Yeah, that's not good. We want to be called Death Valley. I prefer Coachella Valley for sure. So, hey, you know what, guys? We are in a very it's a cool place. I met Kevin literally. You read an article that we wrote about the Bird scooters, electric scooters. One of our cities out here, we have 9 cities out here in the Coachella Valley. They've been pretty much outlawed or not allowed, but our city in Coachella brought in about 100 of them and deployed them on the streets for different reasons, good reasons, public transportation, some fun, different ideas. But you reached out to me with some concerns about it, and that's kind of how we met. You said, hey, there's an article there. I want to talk about it. So tell me a little bit about why you reached out.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a new development, obviously, with Bird coming into Coachella, and it could be the start of something else. I know Palm Springs isn't particularly fond of it, but it could start a chain reaction. And so I just thought that it's relevant. People should know some of the things that they might come up against if they were to get injured on those Bird scooters, which is highly likely, quite frankly, unfortunately, because they can be quite dangerous.
I've been out in one in San Diego, totally loved it. So much fun. Yeah. But what came to my mind was I'm not sure how it was legal in the first place, because I know when I grew up, you had to sign away your life for basically getting on a bus or anything, and here these scooters are out there. They don't require really helmets. It doesn't seem like there's an age requirement. You certainly aren't blowing into any breathalyzer before you jump on the thing. But I had so much fun. At the same time, I was just wondering, how did this even kind of get into our culture and become what I would say legalized in a way?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's not a lot outlining what parameters or safety precautions we should be taking from the state. But from Bird's perspective, they definitely are, right? So when you're getting on that scooter, you're agreeing that, one, you're acknowledging that it's an inherently dangerous activity, and two, that you've actually taken all the safety precautions. Even if a helmet isn't required, you're saying that you're going to wear a helmet, or you acknowledge that would be safer if you had. And so you're agreeing to all these different things that I don't think that most of us, including myself, ever do. I was riding around a scooter in Paris on a trip, and I had the best time of my life because the train operators went on a strike. So I used the scooter, but the reality is that, yeah, you might get a drink at a bar, and then you go to the next location that you want to check out, and then you hop back on the scooter, and certainly without a helmet, and probably not 100% sober. And I think that that's how some people tend to use them, especially adults. And so the reality is that you're putting yourself at risk, because you are agreeing to Bird that you agree that it's a risky activity.
So you're a personal injury attorney, but you were telling me, that was the first thing when we first talked. We talked last week a little bit, and I was saying, how could you ever have a case against Bird, or how are they liable when you are basically agreeing? Even though I do it with my smartphone, probably in the sunlight, I can't really read anything that I'm actually agreeing to. But I do it anyway. Right. How are they liable? How does that? What instances or circumstances, if someone was injured in one of those or got hit or whatever, would they reach out to you?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways that there could be liability, and it doesn't necessarily always fall on Bird or whatever the scooter manufacturer is. Here, it just so happens to be Bird. But with Bird, it's going to be very difficult, because in that agreement that you can barely read on your smartphone, you're saying that I agree that I will indemnify Bird. I will hold them harmless should I get injured from any and all claims, including bodily injury claims. So you're agreeing that basically they're off the hook, so to speak, unless it's gross negligence, which is greater than regular negligence. And gross negligence is a hard thing to actually prove, and highly unlikely, quite frankly. So claims against the scooter company itself are very, very difficult. By the way, in that agreement, you're agreeing to all sorts of things that nobody ever does, number one, and number two, probably doesn't have the capability of actually doing. So for example, you're agreeing that you've inspected the frame of the scooter. Who has capacity, right? Who knows how to inspect the frame of the scooter and the brakes?
Does that mean the paint job too? I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, exactly. I mean, where does it end? So now you're supposed to be the operator of the scooter, but also at the same time, essentially like a scooter repair person, you know?
Yeah, right.
And then you're agreeing that you're going to report it to Bird on the app if you do recognize anything that's problematic. So it's pretty onerous on the user. But that's why I say it doesn't have to be against Bird. There are other ways that you could get injured, right? So let's say you're on the scooter, everything's working fine, the brakes are working fine, but you're going down the road and you're riding in the road and there's a giant pothole and you fall and you hurt yourself. Well, you could have a claim against a public entity, right? The city or the county or whoever's responsible for that road. Or let's say you're using it and you're going through a private parking lot because you're going to the shopping center and there's some deformity on the ground there, like a tree is growing up out of the ground and the branches are breaking through the cement and you fall as a result of that. Maybe you have a claim against the commercial owner of that parking lot for the shopping center.
I see. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Right. It's probably a better case. Or in the most common way, like 80% of the time, is against somebody else's auto insurance because you got hit by a car. Now, those could be tough claims too, because a lot of times people ride the scooter going the wrong way on the road. You're supposed to go with traffic, not against it. And a lot of people go against it because then you can see the cars coming. I get it. I do it too. But you're not supposed to. So those are really the different ways, right? Against Bird, against a public entity like the city or county, against a commercial owner of some property or land, and against an automobile insurance company who hits you with their car. And the last one's probably going to be the most common and the easiest.
I'm sorry. Hey, Rebecca Rizzo, we thank you for joining us. Jeff also, we appreciate that. Gloria's joined us. We have someone watching from Malaysia as well. I'm not sure if they could give you a call, but it's cool that they're interested in what's going on here. They're awake probably still.
More the merrier.
So you know what? It was interesting. I was reading an article that was written not by you, but for you or about you. And it was talking about I think the 5 things that you make a mistake that you shouldn't do in talking to your insurance company if you're in an accident. Let me tell you, Kevin, I've made every single one of those mistakes. I was in a slight accident not too long ago. I wasn't pulling out. The other person kind of hit me in my back quarter panel. Didn't even see them at all. And then I had to go through that whole process of talking to the other adjuster and everything else. I made every single mistake that you mentioned in there about intent, not saying you're sorry. I actually talked to the other adjuster, had no idea. They made me feel like I had to, and I had no other option. Yes. And I didn't really have a favorable outcome. It was so frustrating because I didn't do anything. And a couple of thoughts since I've been, knew I was going to talk to you. I thought I would just ask both if someone does get in an accident with a bird, or even like in my particular case, do you want us to give you a call, even though there might not be a liability or a injury type of claim in that situation? And could you have helped me with my own insurance company and that adjuster, even though I think the case was maybe only the damage was maybe $2,000. Yeah. However, it's still a lot of money to me. I was so frustrated because the truth is, it wasn't my fault at all. But right. I think my words that they recorded, and now they don't go out and inspect anything. So it's really all they do is listen, to your statement and the other person's statement, and then they kind of make this ruling. And it was like 50-50. I have no idea how it could be 50-50.
Yeah.
What should I have done?
Yeah, these liability percentages that they come up with are arbitrary. They make them up. I mean, I've seen 47%. You might as well throw a decimal in there too, right? So California is a comparative liability state, meaning that the outcome that you get is going to be contingent upon your amount of liability yourself. So if it's worth $10 and you're 50% at fault, you get $5. In some states, you just don't get anything at all. So I guess at least we have that. But yeah, most of us do make those mistakes. I mean, when I was a younger man, I made those same mistakes. The number one worst mistake, right, is giving a recorded statement to the insurance adjuster, because it's like talking to
where were you just 2 weeks ago? No, actually it actually happened, I think April 15th, remember, because it's like tax day. And it almost took them 7 weeks to even determine fault. So here, I'm not even getting my car fixed. I had all that time. I could have called you. Would you have wanted me to, even though it was such a small thing? Could you have helped me?
Yeah. So first of all, we offer no obligation free consultations, period. So you don't pay us anything. Even if we accept your case, by the way, you don't pay us anything up front, no cost, because we work on a contingency fee basis. So that means we only get paid when and if we win your case. But we give out free consultations, and we're happy to. In fact, people call me all the time that aren't even related to this industry, and I always try to point them in the right direction. This is who you should talk to. I'm not an expert in this area, so I can't give you legal advice, but X, Y, and Z. So always give me a call. Now, we are a personal injury firm, so if you're not injured, we can't sign you up to be our client, because then there are no injuries to present to the insurance company. And it sounds like yours was probably property damage only related, but that's okay. You could still give me a call, and I would still help you, walk you through it, and tell you what you should avoid, like giving a recorded statement to the adjuster, because they're going to hold it against you. People think if it's their own insurance company, oh, it's okay, they're my friend, they're on my side. No, they're not.
No, they killed me. They literally said, because of the statements made, that's why it's 50-50, because it couldn't determine. But that's just because I'm kind of a nice guy, and I'm talking to I thought, like you said, a friendly, and and it really wasn't my fault. I was doing the speculation of how she might have hit me, and all those things, when really it would have been better to have probably talked to you in the first place. It's one of the reasons that I'm having you on, is because when I first we talked last week, you were so informative, educational, relaxed. It was so easy just to do what we're doing right here and get the information that I needed. And I thought, what, I got to bring you on so that everybody watching here on Coachella Valley, thank you so much, and Today's California, could just hear a little bit more information about these things. So we already talked about the burdensome accidents. One of the things also is, you're a young man. You have offices based out here in Palm Springs and in Irvine. I think you got Irvine behind you, got the freeway behind you there. It's looking beautiful. And out your office. But we talked about you kind of being the new generation, especially out here in the Coachella Valley, of personal injury attorneys. We have a few names that if you've been out here as long as I have, that are prominent and have been here a long time. But you've been winning some awards and doing some good things. We were just talking about that what was it? The super. Oh, give it to me.
No worries. So Super Lawyers Magazine, run by Thompson Lawyers, gives out a Southern California Rising Star Award. So I was the recipient of that 3 years in a row. Best Lawyers gives out an award for ones to watch for up and coming in personal injury litigation, which does kind of draw on what you're saying, which is we are kind of the new modern law firm in the area, and things have changed over time. There was a time when attorneys would meet with insurance adjusters at bars, and they would both bring their stack of files, put them down on the table, get some drinks, have a Moscow Mule. They probably weren't drinking that then, something else. And then they would go over the stack of files. What's that?
You like the Moscow Mules, maybe?
Oh, I love the Moscow Mules.
I do too. I think they're very refreshing. It's nice out here.
I went to a place last night, and the whole list was just different types of Moscow Mules. So they're in.
They're in. Sorry to distract you. It's kind of my interview.
No, it's a good distraction.
So tell me about how you get these awards. I think that's important. 3 years in a row. You are, when I say up and coming, you're not inexperienced. I mean, you've been here for quite a long time. And I know that you practice in other law firms. Graduated from, is it Irvine? UC Irvine?
Yeah, undergrad and law school. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
So, didn't travel far.
So tell me how you get those awards.
Yeah, so the Rising Star one is actually voted on by your peers. So other people within the industry have to vote for you that you qualify as that. And it's the same idea with the best lawyer. So best lawyers once a year gives out. First, you have to be nominated, and then from the nomination list, you get picked from that. And those are two of the most probably, I guess, well-known ones, and the best lawyers being the most prestigious. Even the top 50 firms in the nation post about those. So no, they're very, very nice to have. But it is contingent upon the outcomes that you're getting. So you're not going to be getting awards like that if you're not doing good things and getting successful recoveries for your clients. And word travels quick. And and like I was saying, so in today's day and age, how you get those recoveries are just not quite the same as they used to be. You know, again, you don't meet up at a bar with an adjuster and go over a stack of files. Everything's done electronically. And in fact, a lot of times you're not even up against an insurance adjuster anymore. You're up against a computer software program. So
what? Explain that.
There's a number of insurance carriers, which I won't name. I mean, they all have different levels of use of these, but some are using them a little bit more than others. So for example, there's a computer program called Colossus. An insurance company will pump in certain inputs into that program, right? Diagnosis code, CPT code, this injury, that injury, and they break it down very, very minutely. And then it'll produce a number for them that based upon those diagnoses, you should be getting offered X number of dollars. Well, if the insurance adjuster does their own independent evaluation and determines that that is a wrong evaluation, they can put that forth, but the computer program overrides them. So what I'm saying is you're not up against a human. You're not up against an adjuster that you can be best friends with. You're up against a computer program, so you have to know how to beat the program, so to speak, sometimes depending upon who you're up against. Right?
So do you ever have to go into court or litigate or anything like that? Does that happen in personal injury law?
It does. And there's different numbers out there saying that it's like 98, 97% of the time. I think it's closer to probably 80% of the time you end up settling without having to file suit. But it is right in that about 97, 98% of the time, the case will never reach a trial. It settles before them. So just because you filed suit doesn't mean that you're not still negotiating. Our justice system is set up to encourage us to negotiate. It doesn't want us going to trial. That's why it's so dragged out and people get frustrated, but that's why it's dragged out so that people don't have to go through that process. Because if everybody did it, we'd all not be working and be on juries, right?
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And the reality is that most people want to settle. Yeah.
So, Coachella Valley and today's California. This is Craig Campbell for CoachellaValley.com, and I am talking with Kevin Crockett from the Crockett Law Group. He's in Irvine right now, but he also has an office out here in Palm Springs. You already heard earlier, Rising Star Award, up and coming attorney. But I'm going to put this up real cool. You know what? We were talking about ads because, you know, personal injury attorneys seem to utilize marketing. I think it's excellent, being a marketer myself. What better way to get the information out there? Putting some stuff down there on the bottom if you want to reach out to Kevin. I'm sure he'd love to just talk to you, even if nothing is wrong with you right now, to get information, because you'll see that's just his conversive style. He's available. You know, I read on your website, you're 24/7. People could call you 24/7 and get some. I assume that they maybe not always get you 24/7, but they'll be able to contact your office and get in contact with you shortly. So that's fantastic. But I'm going to run one of your ads just because I think they're cool. So here we go. Watch. Here we go. Enjoy.
There's no desert more enchanting than Palm Springs. But like anywhere else, accidents can happen. And with the largest percentage of LGBTQ+ residents in the U.S., it's nice to know that when it comes to personal injury, the gay community has an advocate in the Crockett Law Group. If you're ever injured in an accident, you need legal care from someone who understands your needs. We look out for our fellow LGBTQ+ community members, and we win big for them. So get the respectful treatment you deserve. Call the Crockett Law Group today.
Sorry about that. We're back. But you know what? The reason I ran that particular ad is because, we also talked a lot about community and about your involvement in community, not just LGBTQ, which we mentioned, but if you go onto your website or any article that I've read about you, there's so many things in there that I see you involved in the business community, nonprofits, all types of things, which is another reason that I wanted to bring you in here, because I know, Coachella Valley specifically, we are so deep into our community and what we're doing here, covering events and so many different things. So tell me about that passion and what's that about for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, a couple of different things. So for one, it's not that different from what I'm doing now, right? I'm helping people who are injured, but these nonprofits are doing something similar, which is they're helping people, maybe in a different capacity. And you're right, Coachella Valley has, I think, per capita more nonprofits than any other area. So it's a fantastic area to be in for that reason alone. And that's probably the most fun part of my job, is to get to be a part of these organizations and to give back to the community. The Coachella Valley has been extremely welcoming to me. I mean, very, very welcoming. And I can't thank them enough for that. And so it's nice to get to be a part of these organizations. And I hope to be a part of more of them in an even greater capacity. As far as the LGBT, as an attorney, I try to keep my private life as much as possible close to the chest. But with that being said, I think today's day and age, we just had that football player that came out and said, I'm a pretty private guy, but I think that it is important for me to say this so that we know that there are more of us out there. And so for me, when I started my own firm, I think that became important for me because it's part of who I am. And it is important to me in my life, obviously. And so I wanted to reach out to that community and let them know that it is a safe space with me, because there are a lot of people that want to be, make sure that they're not going to be judged a certain way, or they're more comfortable talking to certain types of people. So that's why it was important for me to reach out to the community and let them know that I'm here. But I'm also here for everybody else as well. So I try to get involved with as many as possible. I think last week, we just sponsored the event for, happened to be Pride Night, but for Power Baseball. And we're doing some cool things in the future. For Cathedral City, we're going to be giving out bicycles around Halloween time for their big event for Halloween Spooktacular, and with Variety of the Desert, the Children's Desert charity. Well, we're going to be doing something similar. We're going to give away bicycles and things like that. So that's the cool part of my job. That's the part that is fun, right? To get out there and to meet people in person and to help give back.
That's what I love to do. That's my entire brand, is to showcase positive people, places, and things, all the things going on out here in the Coachella Valley and throughout California. We're so event minded, like you said, especially here in the Coachella Valley, so much fundraising, which is fantastic. I just think it's the demographics, of course, and the money that's out here. And everybody we have some of the most spectacular events in the world, of course, Coachella, largest music festival in the world, B&P, one of the richest tennis tournaments in the world, which, by the way, is coming back in October, which we're so excited. And Coachella and Stagecoach is back next year in April, and they're already selling tickets. So it's pretty amazing. I feel like it's such a difference from 2020 to where we are today, Kevin, and I'm very excited about that. So where did you get the heart and passion for for community? How did that transpire for yourself?
Well, like I said, there is an easy crossover for what it is that I do. Part of my job is to fight really aggressively against these insurance companies. And, for 10 hours out of the day straight, that's what I do. But the other hours out of the day, I spend talking to my clients and communicating with them and listening to their problems and the things that they're going through. One, they need that. Two, that's part of their case, right? Part of their case is explaining to the insurance company. Anybody can present a bunch of bills and say, here you go. The heart and soul of their case, and this is where a lot of attorneys actually miss, is just sitting back and listening to your client, appreciate what it is that they're saying to you, and then doing a good job of persuasively relaying that to the insurance company in the best way possible. And so that's me giving back to them on that individual level as my client. And I get the same satisfaction and feeling to get involved in the community in that same way. And I hope to be doing a lot more of it, because Coachella does have so many different things going on, and it's also exciting. And I want to be a part of all of it, but you got to focus. But if anybody out there is listening and has a good idea, let me know.
I like it.
Be a part of it.
Hey, I'm going to run one more of your ads. I just like them. I think you guys did a great job. Plus, it has some very informative information. So watch this. Enjoy. Here we go. Oh, there we go. So how much involvement are you in making those ads? You know, I know you enjoy marketing, and it's a part of what you're doing to get your word out and your brand out there and let people know your availability. And obviously, it's a very important thing, what you do, especially when somebody's in need and injury. So how involved are you in those ads?
I'm very involved for a number of different reasons. I mean, right, nobody's going to care as much as the owner does, right? Another reason is it's fun. But no, I'm very involved from beginning to end. The text that it says, what I want included, what I don't want included from beginning to end. We've got a new one coming out that's going to hit television on July 5th, and it'll be on ABC, Fox, and the CW. And that one's a little different from those. I think that you'll enjoy it. There's one embarrassing part of it for me, but I think people will like it.
Well, I guarantee you the next time I interview you, we'll put that up. If there's an embarrassing part, I'll highlight it.
There is. There is. When you watch it, you'll laugh. You'll be laughing at it. Yeah, and you'll give me.
Well, I like them. Well, so tell me a little bit about your staff and about the support group that you have around you when someone does give you a call, what they could expect.
Yeah, so they can expect, like you said before, to speak to somebody 24/7. They might not get to speak to me right away, but there will always be somebody who will answer the phone. And we do try to talk to people at all hours of the night, wherever possible. And so when they sign on board, what will end up happening is we'll go through the intake process. My staff has been with me for about 5 years and followed me from previous firms. Some came back in the industry, some switched from other law firms to come work with me, and went out of their way because they wanted to be a part of it. And they knew that it was going to be a successful brand and knew what I brought to the table. So I'm very, very thankful for that. And I wouldn't be anything without that staff. I mean, my staff is fantastic. And so you'll also be working closely with them hand in hand. So when they come on board, we go through the intake. You'll be assigned to a case manager. I'll always be on the file. And then we'll get them into treatment, and we'll go over everything with them and make sure that they can reach us at any point in the time. So again, modern, that means email. They can text us, right? A lot of attorneys, you can't text. In fact, they don't want you to text them because it's too much communication. We love it. Phone call, whatever it is, we're always available.
Well, I think that's why you're showcasing here as well, because we're about 95% smartphone watching. And a lot of digitally savvy people. Our brand's been completely grown organically. 800,000 social fans that follow us, Kevin, all been done digitally. And it really is the way. And you can see right here, you know, we're in 2 locations. You're in Orange County today. I'm in my studios here in Palm Desert live, and we're enjoying this. And look at all you can do. Look at the technology that's available now today to be able to express yourself, to educate and communicate. I think that's super important. And I think that's one of the things that we were talking about in the kind of the up and coming or newer personal injury attorney. And today, you know, this is kind of the new thing that's happening, and you're well versed at it. I think it's so important. Can people go into your office?
They can.
And you guys have opened back up?
Yeah. And so that's the thing. I mean, I'm in my office right now. That's the thing that's important, because you don't want to go too far one way or the other, right? So some people I think are a little too old school and that everything's in person, which I think is impractical. And then I also know other attorneys that have gone completely virtual and they're not going back to offices. And these aren't small shops. These are big operations, but they're done. So I don't agree with that. I think that you have to make yourself available to everybody. So if they want to come meet in the office, I just had a client last week who said, yeah, I'd like to meet you in person. I said, great, let's meet over the weekend. Whenever you want, we'll meet in the office. If you want somebody to come out to help sign you up with us, we can do that. We can do it over Skype. We can do it over FaceTime. We can do it. We can send the documents to you electronically through HelloSign. You know what I mean? So just making it as easy as possible to the user for whatever their preference is, whatever walk of life, whatever level of comfortability they have with technology. I think you want to make yourself accessible to everybody.
Hey guys, we're talking with Kevin Crockett, and he is a partner with the Crockett Law Group, based out here in Palm Springs and also in Orange County. And for any of your needs, if you have any questions at all, we got the information down below. You can give him a call on his toll-free number, 760 number. We got his website down there, his email. And of course, any of you guys that are watching this, because I know that this will play later on and continue to show. If you have any questions at all, make sure you put them in the comments. We're very responsive. We'll put up all the information as well in those comments, your web address and things like that, so people can communicate and contact with you easily. I've just had a great time just chit-chatting with you.
Yeah,
I feel like you're just right here. We're going to have to go get one of those Moscow mules sometime soon. We're going to stay off of that scooter, though, the birds. We're going to drive or Uber on that particular day. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't drink that much. So
okay. We'll still Uber.
Yeah, we'll still Uber. We'll still do that. We'll still be certain about that. Yes. So when are you coming back out here to the Palm Springs area, or how often are you here?
Tomorrow and Wednesday. Okay. I'm usually there I would say about half of the week. And it could be any day. It's not set in stone. So yeah, I'll be out there tomorrow. I'll be out there all day Wednesday, possibly Thursday. So I try to spend about half of my work week out there and about half here, because I still, my staff, some is from Riverside, some is from Orange County, and they're kind of all over, but they tend to like to come together right here. And so I still got to spend time with them too.
So something happens to somebody, and just briefly, I know you've already gone over this, and we've been talking for about 30 minutes now, 35 minutes, which has gone by so quick. I've enjoyed it. Tell me a little bit about your competitive advantages, or why someone should give you a call, reach out to you, Kevin, instead of all of the other opportunities or options that might be available.
Yeah, for me, that's easy. I'm in my prime. When you think about it, when you're an athlete and you come out of high school, a lot of people want to get drafted. In fact, if you wait too long, even into college in some sports, like sometimes baseball, you're considered old and you're going to make less money. It's because they have such a short window. I'm in my mid-30s. This is the prime of my career. This is when people are the most hungry. They have experience. They're not new. They still got that drive and that energy. And we know how to work with the insurance company. Again, in today's modern day and age, things work differently. I'll never forget when I was a young attorney and I had another attorney who called me up. And what happened is we represented two people, boyfriend, girlfriend. They broke up. They had both already finished their treatment. So the girlfriend went somewhere else. Well, the other attorney that they hired called me afterwards and said, hey, I found out that you settled for twice as much as I did. What did you do? And I said, I don't know. I did X, Y, and Z. And he goes, God, things aren't the way they used to be. Let me tell you. And he goes on, tells me, and I get it. Now, this guy at that point had been practicing, I think, for like close to 40 years. It was like 35, 36, somewhere around there. And this was the experience that he was having. So you have to be crafty. Part of that comes from the imagination, the drive, the hunger, and that energy. Those are that's how you're going to get results. It's not going to be sitting back in your chair in your mahogany office and picking up a phone and talking to a friend, so to speak, and say, hey, can we get this done? That's not how things work anymore. And so I think that people would want to hire me because I bring that to the table, right? I'm the bulldog, so to speak.
Look at that. There he is. A little more full length. You're looking sharp there. You're looking ready. I like these. Look at this. Gorgeous spot there. You look like you're ready to
That's right
do some business there.
That's right.
Hey, Kevin, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. This is Craig Campbell for CoachellaValley.com. We also thank you guys that are tuning in at Today's California. And, of course, our guest today has been Kevin Crockett of the Crockett Law Group. And you can reach him at thecrocketlawgroup.com and all the numbers and stuff down below. And, of course, again, we'll be putting this in the information so people can reach out to you. Hey, take a look at his campaign starting July 5th out here in the Coachella Valley. You're going to start to see more of Kevin out there. And, of course, we're going to be doing some more stuff with you. And I think it's just a very important industry. You see so many different advertising, so much stuff. And I've really appreciated everything about you. And I appreciate you reaching out to me and reading our stuff, too, and being a part of CoachellaValley.com. So welcome to the Valley. And I'm so glad to have you here. And we'll talk to you next time, Kevin.
I look forward to it.
We're going to come back and do this again, aren't we?
We better.
We're going to do it. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff.
That's right. Thank you for
having
having
me. All right, my friend. Well, you have a great weekend. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking on you. Go ahead.
No, I just said thank you, Craig. I appreciate you having me. Yeah.
You bet. I appreciate you, too. All right, man. Have a great day. And stay cool, stay calm, and talk to you again. Bye, Kevin.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.